Whether you're fighting, healing, caregiving, treating cancer, or simply searching for hope, this space is for you. Welcome to FU Cancer, where meaningful conversations meet powerful community. My name is Juliette Jorgensen. I'm your host, a registered dietitian and cancer advocate, and together we're turning challenges into connection. Check out our platform on the web at fucancer.health. Today, we are honored to be joined by Bron Watson. Bron, thank you for being here today.
Oh, look, thank you for having me.
Of course, yes. Bron is a nurse, an educator, entrepreneur, and founder of the Social Coach and the Serenity Project. With decades of experience as a registered nurse and educator, Bron has long been drawn to spaces where care, communication, and connection matter. In 2012, she founded her first business, empowering business owners to share their voice online with authenticity and purpose. Over the past decade, her work has supported thousands of people to show up in life and business with intention and impact. Bron's journey took a profound shift in 2017 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. 5 years later, she received a second diagnosis, an incurable blood cancer. These experiences deepened her belief that healing isn't just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. Rather than be defined by a diagnosis, Bron created the Serenity Project to offer others what she wished she'd had, the space where science meets soul, with evidence and perspective, which she calls the third space, a place to reconnect with yourself, navigate uncertainty with compassion, and find serenity in the midst of it all. Thank you again for joining us, Bron. We are so thrilled to have you here on the podcast.
Look, thank you for having me. It's always quite surreal when you have your bio read to you. Did I do all of that? Yes, I did. Sadly, in some ways, but yeah, good in others.
Of course. Yeah. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and thank you again for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with some questions just to
Sure.
get to know you and your story.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bron, you've worn many hats:
I
nurse,
have.
educator, entrepreneur. But
I
cancer,
have.
yes, cancer changed your perspective in a profound way. How did your life personally change most after getting diagnosed in 2017?
Oh, look, to go back to that time, so I've had a dual career actually with marketing and nursing for over 3 decades.
Wow.
And yeah, I know. I don't know how I did it, but I did it with I have 5 sons, just so you know, add that into the mix. So
And a mom.
caring is my, as a mum, so caring has been part of who I am since I was a little girl.
Mhm.
Um, so going through all of that, I built a business, and the business I built was in mentoring, helping other businesses grow themselves online, right?
Mhm.
And it was really successful. But throughout those years, I'd have this gnawing feeling in my gut going, Bron, this isn't right. And it wasn't until it was a Thursday afternoon when my doctor said to me, Bron, you have breast cancer. No, it is not in the early stages. 6 days later, on an operating table having a mastectomy. 3 weeks later, starting chemotherapy, right? So no time to process at all. So
Mhm.
profound is, that's not strong enough word.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'd built this beast of a business, and I had worn this badge of honor, which is I'm going to deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. I've taught at university, so I show up with everything I can and love. But there were times through those years, and I wasn't, self-care for me back then. I'd look at it and remembering I'd grown my business online. I hung out with all the internet marketers and all the mentors. And I used to think that self-care was a privilege.
Mhm.
It was something, it was a luxury, an
Mhm.
absolute luxury. Like what the heck was I thinking? And so the profoundness at that time was so strong in the fact that I'll just share a quick story. I was having my second chemotherapy. I had started to react to the chemo like most people do. We all have our own roads through these therapies, whether doesn't matter how you go. And I I caught a glimpse of myself. I was 4 hours after the second chemotherapy, breast cancer people. You know what I'm talking about. It's rough. And I caught myself a glimpse in the mirror and I looked at my, oh, who's that? And then I realized it was me. So I'm red faced, bald, eyebrows were just hanging on for dear life. So I'm still literally not even, oh, what would have been 3 weeks plus 3 weeks, 6 weeks post surgery at this stage.
Mm,
At least the drain was out by that stage, took a month. And I thought, and I caught a glimpse and I looked at myself and I went, do you want to die? Because you keep this up, girl, you're going to die. And it
mm,
was such a profound moment because I realized that I wasn't looking after myself at all because I was too busy looking after everyone else. And it had come at such a great cost. So that's where I talk about the relentlessness of life, which is where I was. And
mm,
overnight, I shut down that part of my business, which was huge. It was a big mastermind, think retreats, courses, all the things, right?
mm,
And I shut it all down overnight. And was it hard? Yep, because there was no plan B. But in that split second, I chose me.
mm,
And from there, I have grown and learnt to be able to talk about what I now call serenity moments, which is, people think about, oh, I've got to be resilient and we're going to, meditate all day and journal. And no, it's not all lollipops and rainbows. It doesn't, they might not last. So to me, a serenity moment is in that moment, I made a decision that was right for me. And it all came from the serenity prayer, which is God grant me serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And when I talk God, guys, we're not talking, it's whatever, who you believe in, universe, source, Dennis, whoever it is, it's understanding, like, Dennis, give me
yeah.
serenity here. Come on, mate, come on.
Mm,
And it was that the wisdom to know that if I kept up that pace, because there's so many good people who want to help, who keep giving you advice. Bron, you need to, one of the weirdest things I got was, Bron, you need to, you need to crush apricot kernels and drink it to cure cancer. Okay, there's arsenic in that, don't you? So that's the profoundness.
yeah.
And that's why it all came about because at 48, mother
Mm,
of five, businesses, career, I was still teaching at university as well at that stage. There comes a choice, and I chose me.
wow, that's beautiful. I love your story and just how you went from, a shell of yourself to really taking it and owning it and making that your power and helping others through it. Like how beautiful. And thank you for sharing that prayer too. I think that'll be so helpful. I'll put it
Yeah,
in the notes as well, show notes, and people can come back to it for whatever they need. And
yeah,
so kind of pivoting, you describe healing as more than physical, right? It's
yep.
emotional, it's
It's
spiritual as well,
everything.
everything. And so what does healing mean to you, especially after receiving your second cancer diagnosis?
Yeah. So that one floored me. I cried constantly for 6 weeks. I couldn't speak to anybody.
Mm,
I didn't have answers because they're looking to me for answers. I had no answers. So my doctor at the time described that incurable diagnosis as a marathon. So I
mm,
now have, I don't want to use the word privilege, but a privilege of going through a curative lane of treatment. And it was at the 5 year mark of the breast cancer. So in Australia, 5 years, bless and release, you're cured. And I'm in the curing, I'm letting go of the surgeon, I'm letting go of the oncologist. And there was a neutrophil down. So that they were always down for 5 years. And we better get a hematologist to check. So I don't know how long the multiple myeloma had been there. I had no
mm,
symptoms. So coming to that point was, I don't even know how to put it into words. For people who have had a diagnosis and have been given a prognosis, and let me say a prognosis is where they tell you how long you're going to live for. I didn't ask for it. I just put that out there. I was given it as if I was offered a cup of tea. Oh, by the way, Brian, you're going to live for this many years. And it was a single digit. So I'm 54 at
mm,
this stage. No, and I
mm.
didn't ask for that. So now remind me what the question was. This is part of the side effect of chemo post. Stem cell
That was
transplant. Tell me about the
the
question again.
question
I got
is
lost there. Yeah.
basically it's amazing. You're doing an amazing
Mm.
job at doing it. You're going in the right direction. What does healing mean to you, especially after receiving your second diagnosis?
Healing then, because now I was dealing with a life limiting disease. So not only was I
Mhm.
dealing with a curative before, which is there was always something, there was always going to be something to look forward to, if I can put it that way. I've never worded it like that before, versus this time where I'm having a medical system tell me that I had a life limiting disease.
Mhm.
And what they didn't take into consideration during any of that was me. And so there are things that we cannot change. And I'm not saying don't do Western. I'd have people say to me, "Oh, you're doing that sort of treatment, aren't you?" What? It's none of your business, but thank you. Um, it's not an either or an or. So when I talk healing so where I am living every single moment on a path of healing. So best way to me to describe healing, right? So we get your phone out and you go to the maps and you put in a destination of healing. I've just been to Japan. So imagine I'm in a car in Japan and I've got to drive. And I'm putting in healing as a destination. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know how to even drive in Japan, but I got to drive over there and I'm going to healing. And what happens, of course, is that things come along the way. There could be accidents, there could be diversions, and I call that the blue line. So what happens on your phone when you come across a diversion on a map, on a Google map or a Apple map? It always calibrates. It'll always get you back to where you're going. That's your
That's
path of
true.
healing. There's no end to the path of healing. We just keep following the blue line. And I have a saying, and so I did actually work with an energy healer for 2 years to come to terms with a life limiting disease. And how was I going to show up? How was I going to demonstrate to my children, not leave a legacy, people, but demonstrate so my children could find their serenity, their resilience just by observing and watching. And so during those times of learning with Kerry, I learnt a saying, which is, I know I will, I just don't know how. I let go of the control of trying to figure it all out. Because what happens in cancer treatment and go online and your gazillion searches of what to do and how to cure cancer or live with cancer, um, you don't know what's right. So going through that, I let go of the control of trying to figure it all out because we may not figure it out. I love our scientists. I love because in hematology and blood, it's all science. It is all science. It's bone marrow. It's all of the things, right? I love the scientists. They have one lane in my world. And then I have multiple pillars, which is why I call it the third space, because it's the space between science and soul. Am I the only person doing this? No. But it's about finding it with a place with perspective. Like there won't be that many people out there who's been a nurse educator, who's taught for 30 years, who's been on the bedside of, I reckon, over 1,000 people who've been diagnosed with cancer. And I stood there. I didn't even give it a second thought. I had
Mhm.
compassion and they'd toddle off to the cancer institutes and wherever they were going to go. I had no concept of what they felt in that bed. So that's where the perspective comes in because I have been that person and now I'm the person in the bed and I know exactly what they're doing to me, which is not, it's not fun. But that's what I'm talking about is that we find healing and healing
Mhm.
comes in all shapes and sizes.
Mhm.
And we are the CEOs of our ecosystem, people. I'm the CEO of Bron. So research tells us that out of 100 people, 20 people who have a diagnosis, this is based on evidence, people, literally go, "Oh, I knew it. I knew I was going to die." And they just up and die. Then we've
Mhm.
got 60 in the middle who just take whatever comes to them. They're what I would call a passive participant, like a passive bystander, really, because you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what to ask, but you just take whatever hits you. And then there's 20 who go, hang on a minute. What the hell's going on here? I want to know. I want to be a part of it. Do I go and read all the research articles? I don't even know what I'm reading. And I've done some training. I leave that to the experts.
Mm.
I find people who can interpret that for me. So I am the CEO of myself. So I'm an active participant. I'm sure when I walk in, they go, "Oh God, here she comes." But I have the most amazing relationship with my specialist. I've got an
That's the
energy healer.
best.
I've found an amazing doctor in Brazil. Her name is Dr. Priscilla, and she's amazing. I just came across her by this sheer coincidence in life, which is not always a coincidence. So that's what healing looks like for me, is that I am the CEO of me, and I'm not
Mhm.
bossy people. I'm not talking about I'm just saying that I'm part of the decision-making process. And that is what I feel from our in Australia anyway, how the systems work is that we want to hear from the person who, I've even given feedback to my specialist because I was given like one of my bloods was off and I had a random doctor ring me say, "Oh, you've got to have phosphate, you've got to have phosphate." And I said, "Well, who are you again? And why am I having phosphate?" "Oh, maybe you haven't got enough in your diet. Like, would you like to open my notes, perhaps?" So the feedback is that I said to my specialist, I said, "Could you please let your team know that there's a person behind that lab result?" Just saying.
Yeah.
So I'm not being assertive, guys. I'm just participating. And I find people, and that's why I love what you guys are doing, because we're pulling together people who have the
Mm.
answers that you may be looking for.
That's true. Yeah, that was incredible. Thank you. And I think, you're right. There's so much peace that comes with letting go of control. And as difficult as it is, I think a lot of
Very.
people will benefit from hearing that because we
It's
love
hard.
controlling as human beings.
We
Yeah,
do. Imagine
we
me,
do.
mother of five men. I controlled my world, let me assure
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
That's the resilience, guys. That's where I have taught myself literally. I've probably had over 50 appointments in a cancer institute in the last 8 years. Okay. And I now have taught myself to be able to walk into that appointment in in a space of calm.
Hmm.
Whereas before I would freak out a day before, 2 days before, and I was a mess. It's only just learned, this has been a learning process over years. I now go in irrespective of what's going to happen after I go through the double doors. But when I'm
Hmm.
sitting there, I'm I'm so present with myself that I'm consciously. So my favorite saying of all time, and I think it's going to actually be the title of the book I'm writing, which is called "Be Where Your Feet Are."
Hmm.
And I just be where my feet are. And it's not like it's, "Oh, well, Bron, that's where your feet are." No, it's bringing myself back again and again and again when you
That's
understand how
good.
your brain goes into fight and flight and how you can bring it back. Doesn't mean I
That's
walk out, doesn't mean when I have a left hand turn, as I call it, that I don't feel the feels. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that I'm saying I'm prepared in the moment.
mm. Yeah, that's good. So, if you could sit across from someone who was just diagnosed today, scared, overwhelmed, unsure of what comes next, what is one message you would want them to hear?
I think the one message, first of all, I would look them in the eyes and go, "I feel you. And I'm so sorry this is happening to you because I can't fix it, and neither can they in the moment." But I'm acknowledging that. I'm acknowledging the absolute shit show that they've just been handed. And literally, I would encourage, literally be with that person to go, "Let's just stay here." And I've said this to a lot of, let's not cross the bridge yet. Let's not cross that bridge. And the bridge could be the other side of a test or a scan or a prognosis. We're not there yet. So don't cross the bridge until you have to, because when we have to, we'll figure out what's next. But we can't
Hmm.
figure it out yet right now because we don't have everything we need to be able to understand what's next. So it's to stay here, stay here. Literally, I'm holding hands, stay here with me. Just stay here. Don't
Hmm.
go there yet.
That's good.
That's
That's
what I'd say.
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And the last question, as you know, many people fighting cancer feel pressure to be positive at all times. How do you balance honesty about fear, grief, and uncertainty while still cultivating hope?
It's a really good question because positive toxicity, oh, you'll be right. My Aunt Mary, she survived breast cancer.
Mm,
I'm not your Aunt Mary.
right.
Yes, the way that I handle that is that I speak my truth, and it's not speaking it. Oh my gosh, I'm so worried about the next because I've got an appointment next week. I have an appointment every week, every month, I should say, and I don't know. I'm as good as my last blood results, is what I say. There's two sides to it, but we want to be truthful to ourselves. So whatever you're feeling, you name it for yourself. All right, you don't
Mm,
have to speak it if you don't want to. Saying I'm fine, as long as you are saying you're fine, not to make the other person feel good, but to protect yourself, that's okay. But if it's about being truthful to yourself and understanding, just a really quick story because I know I talk too much. I recently thought, right, I met a lady who I've known for years. She's always been a bit of a, she's not a close friend or anything. I met her and she asked, how are you, Bron? I said, well, you know what? I'm actually not okay because my blood results haven't been awesome for the last 5 months. I'm actually not okay, but I'm okay. And I worded it however I wanted to word it. Oh, that's no good. Oh, but you know what? I'm going on a cruise. I'm going on a cruise next month for my 60th. I'm shocked at this stage because I spoke my truth with the expectation that I would at least get some sort of acknowledgement.
mm,
So I had a choice in that moment to either go, oh, well, I'm not speaking my truth anymore. That's a waste of time, victim. Or, Bron, well done you. You spoke your truth, irrespective of what you got back in return.
mm,
Because that's the thing with speaking truth, is you're not speaking truth for anybody else. This is a Bron thing, right? You do whatever you need to do for yourself, guys. I'm not saying you have to do that. For me, when I speak my truth for myself, I am seeing beautiful, healthy red blood flow through my body, and I'm not seeing cancer. So when
mm,
I'm speaking my truth, I visualize health, I visualize vitality, because when I say something to make someone else feel better, because let's be honest, most people don't know what to say to you. They don't know how to handle it for themselves, but it's
mm.
not your job to care for that. You know what I
So
mean? It's
true.
not our
Mm,
job to care what someone else thinks. Our job
mm,
is to speak our truth for ourselves. So you insert, and sometimes it might even be, I'm absolutely okay. Thank you for asking. Why? Because you put up a beautiful boundary. So we're
mm,
talking a boundary thing here, but please, please speak your truth to yourself, which we want to name that emotion, because psychologically, when you name your emotion, you're separating yourself from that emotion, and it gives you space. And that's where you can speak your truth with zero expectation of what that person is going to give back to you. And it's going to
incredible.
feel, it doesn't feel good. I mean, listen, remember, I only did that in February. So it's
Right.
not easy, but I've learned, and it's because I needed to speak it for me, not what I
Hmm.
got back in return.
Hmm. It's true. Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. Ron, you have so much wisdom, and I'm so appreciative of your time for being with us here tonight and just sharing your truth, sharing your story and your raw and real, authentic story. It's incredible, and I know it will be so appreciated with all of our listeners. So thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. The conversation doesn't end here. Join our community today at fucancer.health for trusted education, real community, and resources. We are here for you every step of the way.